job. I was opportune to also, design the archive of Kasubda in Kaduna. I was also privileged to be transferred to Gis, that's going to be geographic system, and I was also transferred to Kwara GIS, where, and now I'm back to Gis. So I'm in Gis right now. So I've actually visited some various states where GIS has been implemented. So it's a privilege for me to be anchoring this, or to be speaking to us this evening on GIS for Land Administration, case study of fire tracking management system. So permit me to share a slide, although I might be speaking beyond what I have arranged for this presentation. So but permit me to share a slide, so I will be talking in accordance with the slide. Then feel free to maybe jot down something and have a question to ask. So from your question, I can ascertain areas where you find challenges and we can solve it together.
So in line with that, Tupani, please, I think if you can, based on the fact we have 1 hour, maybe your presentation can be like with 30 minutes, and then we'll have a session for question and answer. I think if it's okay by you.
All right, it's fine by me.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't know, can you see the slide I'm sharing right now?
Yes, I can see it from here.
All right, I will be very quick, but ensure that you jot something down. It's very important, because no man is an island. Why I started by what is GIS is because I don't know my audience, your background and your foundation in GIS. So I'll just start from a level so that I can build the information for us. What is GIS? GIS simply means Geographic Information System, or systems as the case may be. So GIS is a technology that is used to create, manage, analyze, and map all types of data. So it means that the GIS tool can accept any kind of data. Okay? GIS connects data to a map, integration location data where things are, with all types of description information. This provides a foundation for mapping and analysis that is used in science and almost every industry. GIS helps users understand patterns, relationships, and geographic context. The benefits include improved communication, efficiency, management, and decision making. You agree with me that GIS is not only in land administration. GIS has covered virtually every industry. In the utility industry, let's say power holding and water, what's it called? Our water industry too, they use GIS. In our oil and gas, they use GIS. In agriculture, GIS is used. So, but we are going to be streamlining our discussion specifically in land administration. Okay, I'll move to the next slide.
Now join through your email.
Function of GIS. So the function of GIS includes data management, foundational system of record, which means GIS can accommodate every data and manage that same data. Okay, it has a database where information can be stored and retrieved when needed. The second function we have is spatial analysis. Most data has a location component. So most of the data that are stored in GIS have location components. Such components can be what? Your coordinates. Okay. The third point there we have is mapping and visualization, from digital maps and dashboards to satellite imagery. Okay, gone are the days where we use the physical, the topo sheet and what have you. Now, because of the invention of GIS, You can now have a digital map. You can now have dashboards that represent charts, that represent pictorial diagrams, which even a layman or our mothers at home can, understand. The third point there, the function of GIS is communication. Maps and dashboards communicate complex ideas quickly. So because of GIS, complex ideas can be communicated easily without no stress. Okay, I'll move quickly to the next slide. GIS for land administration. So I'm streamlining GIS specifically for land administration. GIS for land administration uses computer system to capture, store, analyze, and manage spatial land data like parcels, ownership, value, use, and link it with description information, creating a powerful tool for managing land records, planning development, assessing property, and improving transparency. For better governance and decision making, it integrates maps with data to visualize patterns, manage assets, and streamline workflows, supporting everything from basic land registration to complex urban planning. Let me give us a little bit insight. Now, what are these tools that we use for land administration? What are these GIS tools? Because when we talk about GIS, we are talking about tools, what we can use. And this definition have made it clear. It said GIS for land administration uses computer system to capture, which computer system comprises of the hardware and the software. So the softwares, the two major softwares used are ArcGIS and the QGIS. The ArcGIS is a software for X-ray, while QGIS is an open source software that you can download and use freely without, making any payment. For X-ray, it is a licensed product. You have to, purchase the license before you can use the software. Now, this software enables land administrators to be able to, create or capture, store, and analyze and manage spatial land data. So it is very important for some of us that are in this field. You can feel free, if you have a laptop, you can download the QGIS software. It is user friendly. You can even learn it on your own. Okay. So this work we'll be discussing, and we'll see how we can integrate it with our case study, which is the file tracking management system. Okay, I'll move to the next slide. Please keep jotting down your questions because of time. If not, I will have just asked us if you have any question. The next slide here, the key function of GIS in land administration. The key functions, one is land parcel management. Land parcel management. You will agree with me that because of GIS, two owners cannot own a plot or a parcel, so to say. Okay? Once a parcel is being digitized and plot match is simply the marriage or the integration of landowner information with the plot information. Once that is done, no any other person can claim ownership of that parcel. So GIS make it easy for or eradicate issues of duplicate owners. Why? Because it manages every land parcel judiciously. The second point we have there is the tenure and ownership. You will agree with me that for instance, an applicant that is applying for, let's say, a residential processing have a tenancy period of 99 years. While for maybe commercial, depending on the state. Some states have 40 years, while some states are 60 years. You agree with me that with the invent of GIS, your tenure and ownership will be secured. It is not a manual process where someone can tamper with it. No. Once it has been digitized using GIS tool and married with your LIS or your GIS web application, no any other person can claim ownership to your land, and your tenancy period is intact. Thirdly, land use planning. The advent of GIS has made land use planning effective and efficient. For a state to plan its, for instance, I use a layout, a state to plan a layout judiciously, it is as simple as ABC, using GIS to design the layout and to ensure, okay, in this layout we have 30 residential, we have 40 commercial, we have recreational centers and what have you. Okay, it makes planning easy and streamlined process. The fourth point we have there is valuation and taxation. It is easy to value a property and also easy for the government to generate tax. Mind you, every landowner that have a statutory title, when I mean statutory title, a title getting from the state government, it is easy for the government to generate their annual ground rent. The ground rent is a tax levied on every parcel annually, and what determines the ground rent is the purpose of the plot, the location of the plot, and the land use. So GIS make these functions very easy to implement. The next point we have there is the transaction management. It is easy for you to transact your parcel from one person to another. Why? Because there is documentation, there is history of the land, well documented using the GIS tool. Then the last point we have here is public engagement. Now, because of the large cumbersome data or the database of GIS, the public can easily access information. For instance, let's say World Bank wants to empower schools in a particular state. It is easy to calculate or to query how many schools, or let's say private schools or government schools or what have you, any kind of information you want, you can extract it using the GIS tool. So you can see the functions are numerous. These are just a little points to make us understand what we are here to do. I'll move to the next slide without wasting much of our time. Then this brings me to the slide which is, what is FTMS? We have talked about GIS. Now we are looking at a case study, FTMS. FTMS simply means File Tracking Management System. It's a digital solution for monitoring, managing, and securing physical and digital documents, tracking their complete life cycle from creation to closure, ensuring accessibility, accountability, and efficient workflow through features like status updates, audit trials, and workflow automation, often using barcodes, RFID, or software to pinpoint location and history. Let me explain. Now, FTMS is a tool also linked with the GIS. Mind you, we've agreed that GIS can accept any kind of data, be it your spatial or non-spatial data. Once it is linked with any other software, they can share information. Now, the FTMS is a tool that is used to track the physical file of land. Mind you, in the old way of land administration, when they are still doing things manually, you will find out that for an applicant to process his file, that file must be seen first. Once you can't find that file, it means that the person will go back and start opening what they call a temporal file. So which means file itself is a very important tool when it comes to land administration. Now, if you can't find that file, it means that you cannot process your application, and that is why most people find it difficult. Sometimes they spend more than 2-3 years processing a C of O. So this is the reason why FTMS has come to play in line with GIS. Now, how can FTMS solve this problem? Why? Because FTMS can be used to save these physical files into soft copy. How? By tracking using barcodes, RFID, radio frequency identification, or software to pinpoint location and history. But the major use technology is the barcode. Okay, you notice that in various land administration, every file now have what they call a tracker label. That tracker label carries the information of the file. What is the information of this file? The applicant's name, the file number, because file number is unique. No two files can have one file number. No two files can have one file number. So it eradicates what we call duplicate file number. In the old system, one applicant or two plots might have one plot might have two file number, so which will cause inconsistency. But because of the FTMS, duplicate file numbers have been eradicated. Issues of wrong file number or misfiling or what have you have been eradicated. The issue of looking for your file before your process can continue have been eradicated. Why? Because even if your physical file cannot be found at the moment, there is a digital file that have been captured. So the transformation of the manual process to digital starts by capturing the manual informations. Mind you, before GIS came to play, FTMS came to play, there is already an existing manual process, which the first thing we do in any project is to ensure that these manual informations are transferred to digital information. So FTMS, let me also add, with the advent of FTMS, there is a need for a proper archiving. Archive is a place where all these files are kept, well organized, with proper racking system, batch number and rack number. You know, when I was introducing myself, I said in Kasuda we had to organize their archive for them, because there will not be a good FTMS system without a proper location where these files are kept. I think in 2019, thereabout, when we are still working in Kajis, we have over 400 and something thousand files, if I'm not mistaken. So now imagine how many files they will have. So it is not something we can organize manually, and that is the need for FTMS. Mind you, FTMS is not just a tool for just land administration, but we are streamlining what we are doing here based on land administration. FTMS can be used in various industries, such as our GIS. Okay, permit me to move to the next slide. Now, the function of the FTMS is what? One, manage files. Like I said, the FTMS, it's used to manage file. Each file can be saved in the FTMS using the file number, the owner name, location, or maybe plot location, so to say. Okay. Number two, we have movement tracking. Now, the FTMS enables movement of file it tracks the movement of file from one location to another. You agree with me that there are workflows in land administration. Let's say, for instance, an applicant into the customer service of the agency or the land administration agency. First thing they do is what? Submit application form with required documents, maybe such as your survey plan, maybe sales agreement or offer letter, as the case may be. Once these documents are collected and processed immediately, an acknowledgement letter will be given to the applicant. From there, those documents will move to either the archive or the FTMO. FTMO is what we call File Tracking Management Office. There is an office responsible for FTMS. So this office will now ensure that, having jacketed your file where it is supposed to go. If it is to go to land service, for instance, they forward it moving using the FTMS. And that is why every file has a tracker label. So if the files, let's say for instance you have 1,000 files that need to move, there is a barcode reader that reads these tracker labels and ensure these files moves in batch to those various units. So it tracks the movement of files. Wherever those files go, you can use your FTMS to track them, as long as they were forwarded using this tool. Okay. 3, status monitoring. Now, we can also monitor the status of the file using FTMS. For instance, like I said, if you forward the file to land service, we know that that file is going for, let's say, digitizing, or after digitizing, they generate a list for approval, and that list is being signed and uploaded on the system before offer acceptance letter and initial bid generated, and applicant will be called to come and pick up this document. Now, any unit that we find this file gives us the status, give us the mindset that, okay, this file now is in land service, which means so thing is happening. And linked with the LIS or GIS web, you will see the status clearly stated for plot matching or approval granted or bill generated, so it keeps track of what happens in the file. All right, digital and physical integration. This is where I love so much. Now, funny enough, yes, you will say that the file might have been opened and movement are happening. Possibly the file is in process and the owner maybe have sold the place and decide to come and submit application for transaction. Let's say maybe he has sold it and he wants to, the new owner wants to continue the transaction. Yes, the system permits that. The system, once that document is submitted, we use the FTMS to ensure that the documents are filed in their physical file. Okay, the applicant comes to customer service, submits this document, it is captured immediately into the GIS web, and the documents are tracked using FTMS to ensure that these documents gets to the location where the file is, and the staff there, the responsible of the FTMO staff, to file this document and send it or redirect it to where it is to be processed. So which means that the physical file and the digital file must be up to date. And it is also the responsibility of the FTMO staff to ensure that any documents that have not been updated on the digital platform is done before sending it to any unit for continual process. So digital and physical integration. The next point there we have is audit trial. Now, you agree with me that with the advent of GIS and FTMS, the issue of querying a file have been eradicated. We have some issues where the EFCC will come, the maybe issue of a court case or what have you, two people claiming ownership to a land and all that. But because there is no way the system permits two ownership, now it has already eradicated that. So audit trial, it makes it transparent and efficient. So the next point we have there is workflow automation. Now, because of the function of FTMS and GIS, workflow is no more done manually. Yeah, because the jobs from start to completion is automated. So all workflows have been, transformed to automated workflow. As I was speaking, you hear me say once applicant comes in, submit this application, takes it to this next step, from this step to the next step, all is being automated. And the workflow cannot be bridged. You cannot jump step 1 and land yourself in step 5. It is not possible. For instance, once the plot is digitized, then you must plot match them. Then there must be a list generated for either the DG or the Commissioner of Lands to sign, to acknowledge that yes, I'm in the know of this process before, and this signature, this list must be uploaded before you can print the offer of grant, before you can print the initial bill and what have you. So the workflows are now automated in such a way that you cannot manually do anything using these tools. Okay, I'll move forward to the next slide. How FTMS work. I've explained this, but I'll still elaborate more. Physical files use what? Barcode or RFID tags or QR code for unique identification and tracking. Then the digital files relies on software features like metadata, indexing, and access permission. Okay, I'll move to the next slide. FTMS key benefits. FTMS key benefits. One of the benefits is it increased efficiency. It saves time and reduces errors compared to the manual system. So you agree with me that efficiency is 100. It reduces errors to the minimal, except human error. Okay. 2, it enhances security, controls access, and protects sensitive information. So with the advent of FTMS and the GIS, mind you, the essence of the digital copy is to ensure that the physical copy is not tampered. Whosoever tampered the physical copy, there is a digital one to replicate it. Even if the physical one is being misplaced or what have you, it can be regenerated, it can be printed from the system and rejacketed, and the process continues. Improved accountability. It provides clear record for file handling. Yes, the FTMS helps provide clear records for file handling. So whosoever handles a file knows that he or she needs to be accountable for that file. Why? Because as you forward the file from one unit to another, these files are also taken physically to the table where you forward it to. So there is accountability. Better decision making. Enable quick access for planning. So I gave you an illustration that in 2019, Gis was having about 400,000 files. So imagine you want to query those files. It will not be easy for staff there. They will keep complaining. But with this tool, you can just query all the files, export it to the spreadsheet package, let's say your Excel package, and do your analysis, make your decisions. So it makes it more easy, transparent, and efficient. I'll move to the next slide. So now we'll talk about the GIS integration with FTMS. Integrating geographic information system GIS with a file tracking management system FTMS transform document assets or case management by adding a spatial dimension mapping exactly where files physical assets or related incidents are located. This integration enables organizations to move beyond traditional non-spatial data, allowing for real-time tracking, improved decision-making, and enhanced visualization of data, such as mapping case files to specific properties or tracking physical file to specific cabinet rooms. Now, this is what GIS and FTMS has done. It has been integrated. There is a database. You can use a Postgres or PostGIS database to ensure that both your non-spatial data and spatial data are incorporated. For instance, I've just made it clear to you that the file have what? A unique file number, okay, and the owner name is there. So it's easy, to access this file. From the file number, I can access the owner, I can access the plot information, I can access anything that is linked to that file. That is what it means by document assets. Now, aside that I have the physical file, I also have a digital copy. It gets to a level where I don't really need the physical file to work on a file. Why? Because everything I need on that physical file is already on the system. Okay? I can manage whatever I want to do from my system. I can integrate, I can switch from the FTMS to the GIS. Why? Because the informations are linked to one another. Whatever information I need in the GIS, I can also get it using the FTMS tool. So, but like I said, you need a good specific cabinet room, which we call the archive. You understand? To enable these files, when they are not in process, they should be kept in a good condition. One, in a place where they can also easily be accessed. Since all these files have file number, they have batch numbers and rack numbers. So also dipping them, that's what we call it, the terminology, dipping them into their deep should be easy and accessible, so that each time you want to call upon this file, you can as well, retrieve it easily without no issue. Yes, it is humans that also work in the archive. We know it is possible for misdipping. Misdipping is a sense whereby file 00001 is supposed to be in batch 1, rack 1, but because of human error, you find it in batch 2, rack 1, for instance. Yes, and that is why most times we do what they call rechecking in, go back, or we do what we call file sensors to ensure that all files are kept in their proper rooms, cabinet, or location, as the case may be. All right, I'll move to the next slide. Okay, this is a screenshot of the FTMS tool, and this is where the files can be managed. When we say manage files, we mean where file can be saved, how we can save this file into FTMS so that we can manipulate it, so that we can use it, we can forward it, we can make a report on it. Okay, if you look vividly, you see the first place here says enter file number. When you enter the file number and you fetch, if the file is not in the database or has not been saved, you will not see any information, and that means there is need to save it. And then you can now go ahead and enter the file number, write the file number, owner name, LGA. This LGA is for the plot, old file number. Now, mind you, the old ministry, they might have changed their numbers, time without number. We also keep track of those information. Maybe there are survey numbers, you can also enter them here. Phone number of the applicant, file condition, is the documents complete, are they incomplete? If there are need for remark, maybe this file have been re-granted before. Re-grant means that the tenancy period has expired and they gave another grants for the applicant. These informations can be entered here. Then we have land application dates. Which day did this person apply? Does he have an offer letter, that's right of occupancy? If yes, you tick this place and put the date. Does he have a C of O? Maybe he's coming to apply for regrant or subsequent transaction, which can be maybe deed of assignment or deed of mortgage, deed of release or deed of devolution. Okay, if there is any of this case, then you can note it. Then number of page, how many documents did he submit? These documents are going to be numbered and before capturing into the system. So we expect that the number of page is also noted here. The batch number, the rack number will be generated automatically when we click save or save and print QR. QR simply means quick response. So that is the tracker label that will be placed on the file for tracking purposes. I'll move to the next slide, which is forward.
Obani, yes, you have less than 5 minutes because of question.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm rounding up now. So forward files with STMS tools, you can use this interface to forward the files either in batch or single. Now here where they write enter file number, you just put the file number, search, it drop, you keep adding, you can add up to 30 files. You can see down here selected files, you can add up to more than that number and you forward to the various units you want those files to go. Movement reports, FTMS reports, you can report a file or transaction of a file from transaction date to or creation date to the file number, survey number, batch number, location, owner name. This is how we can make movement report. And we have export reports. So whatever report you have here can be exported to Excel sheet. Okay. Then we have request file with FTMS tool. It is expected that every unit in the land administration requests for file from either FTMO or archive directly, so that when you want to look for that file, you know who requested it and what date and time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Obani. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate your presence, and I also appreciate everyone for in this meeting. Actually, the whole level of coordination. We discovered there is no noise, and that is a very nice thing. I appreciate everyone for coordinating yourself as well. All right. So before we give room for any question, because we have some minutes to the end, which because we need to do this webinar within 1 hour. All right, because of other people that have other engagements. All right. So as CAD and GIS, as I said, we have we train and then we do other consultancy services. Definitely, we are going to ask your question, but in case you have any other questions and you not ask here, you can actually send us your mail. We can make Emmanuel Obani available for you to actually talk to your staff. For example, because I understand there are some policy makers here, there are some directors in different ministries from different states. I'm aware there are a lot of executive secretaries from different states that have contacted me that are going to be in the webinar. So possibly you are in a policy maker in your organization and then you look at it, because the whole essence of this is that you see that the process of land administration is working, the technology is working, but because of human error, it's discovered a lot of delay in the process. So we look at the possibility of how we can track these things and make sure that, okay, even when you are deploying technology, let the technology work and let it save time as well. All right, that is one of the things that we do, especially in Gis, where we started. At least the process of generating CFO is actually very less, because you discover that you fast track and try to track these files so that somebody will not just keep his file in his office for months and then he's not actually working on that file. So these are policy issue. All right, so if you are a policy maker, you can actually see how you can implement some of this technology. You can actually forward an email to us if if the question is not answered here, and then we can, if it means to talk to your management, we can actually organize that and discuss a proper way, because there are different states that possibly they are trying to run this GIS administration or land administration themselves. They don't actually want to involve other consultants, which is fine. Anybody can actually do that, you understand, but we just want to guide the proper workflow of those applications. So thank you very much. I don't know if anybody have any question. And also by every first week of any month, we'll be having our GIS training, while every third week we'll be having our free webinar. We'll be coming up with a lot of topics that will interest you, so you're actually free to join. It's actually a free webinar to talk about how this can help us in our land admin. And then we want to join any of our paid training. You can as well send us your mail. You can send us a mail and then we give you the details. Even after this, we can still send you the details of our training. All right, so I don't know, do you have any question, please? You can ask.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Mr. Mohammed.
Yes, Mr. Emmanuel, thank you very much for this presentation. I just want to know, this FT file management, is it a separate software that is handling non-spatial attributes, linking it with the GIS components? And what is the difference between the layer attributes in QGIS and this file management system?
Okay, thank you for that question. Yes, the FTMS is actually a separate tool that is used for file tracking management. Okay, so it depends on how your agency or your ministry software was developed. It can actually be incorporated with your LIS. Some people use LIS, while some use a web application, GIS web application. So it can be incorporated or embedded into your LIS, or it can be a standalone desktop application or web application. It all depends on how your softwares are, how it is designed. Okay, yes, it is actually different from your QGIS layers. Okay, it has nothing to do with the QGIS layers, but actually can be incorporated with your QGIS. Mind you, your QGIS is already integrated with your LIS or your web application. So the FTMS work hand in hand with either your LIS application or your web application, which is integrated with the GIS tool. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Barnabas. Yes, Mr. Barnabas, you can ask your question. And then after Mr. Barnabas, Mr. YSN Osun, please, two of you can just ask your question so that you can attend to your question at once because of our time.
Okay, thank you for the privilege. Like, I was actually going to ask the difference between the file tracking management system and the LIS, but from his preceding answer, he touched something just now. So is there any key difference between the LIS and the FTMS? Because the features seems to be the same. Well, I don't know if it is an augmentation onto the LIS.
Okay. Mr. Osun, YSN, please ask your question so that I can answer the two questions at once.
All right, thank you, Mr. Moderator, and thank you, Mr. Emmanuel, for the lecture. I came for this meeting a little bit late because of the time differential. The meeting started at 5:30, but I just logged in. Please, I don't know if the recording of this seminar can be made available to all attendees. Thank you very much. That's my question.
Okay, I will just answer that. Yes, we are going to send it via email to everyone. So we are going to send the records. Yes. So, Obani, you can attend to Mr. Barnabas' question.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Barnabas, what you need to know is that most of these applications are, both the LIS are most are web applications. Some are desktop applications. So the interface might actually look the same because they are all web applications. So the issue is some programmer might decide to do it as standalone. Like for instance, they can design your LIS separately, design the FTMS separately. While some can incorporate it as one package. Okay, it's just like your MS Word or your Microsoft Office. Inside your Microsoft Office, you have MS Word, you have PowerPoint, you have Excel, you understand? So it's a package. So it all depends on the developer's choice or the client's choice, you understand? So yes, the interface can look the same, but actually do different things, okay? I don't know if I've answered that question. I will have screenshots our web application and show you. It's virtually the same thing, but they all have, this tab all have different functions they carry.
Okay, thank you very much, Obani, for your time. I think with this we have come to the end of this webinar. All right, it's something that we do monthly. We'll come up with an exciting topic that we'll talk about. The most important thing is that we want every state that are trying to apply GIS in their land administration to actually succeed by understanding every technology that can use to actually fast track the process. That is what we are trying to do at CAD and GIS Center. And as I said, if you have any question, if you want any special discussion with your team, so that we can make a clear explanation, more details explanation, because of time, we actually open. We can make Emmanuel Obani available for you to actually talk to your team or to your stakeholders for proper decision as to relate to GIS for land administration and file tracking management as a case study. So thank you very much for joining us. We hope to see you in our next webinar, and then if you actually want to acquire any of these GIS skills, you can join us in our next training, which is coming up the first week of every month. All right, we're starting first week of every month, and then we continue until you achieve the skill that you want to achieve. So if you don't have any question, I would like to say thank you for joining, and we'll make the video available to you, and then we are going to send you the details, our mail, any of our details, so that if you want to reach us, you can actually send mail to us or call us or chat us or join our social media page and the rest of them. Thank you very much for joining, and have a nice weekend. Thank you, Mr. Obani. Thank you. My regard to Gis people.
Thank you,
thank
brother.
you for joining. Yes, sir.
You can see they are even bringing files for me to welcome.
I
thank you.
I can see, sir. Thank you. My regard to them. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you.